frequency. We rise above, entrepreneurs of spirit and love. Feel the beat sets us free, living dreams eternally.
Welcome to the Spiritual Entrepreneur Frequency Podcast. We are so thrilled to be featuring spiritual leaders and coaches who are blending science and spirituality in powerful, impactful ways. Our guests share their unique methods to help elevate consciousness and guide people into their higher frequencies. This podcast is going to help our listeners learn how to tune into those higher frequencies through practical and science-backed spiritual tools. It's all about expanding consciousness, elevating your energy, and stepping into alignment with the life that you want to create. Through conversations and techniques like my own 4D visualization, we're helping people feel and embody their future selves. So I am so excited that you are here and enjoy the Glow Goddess Frequency Podcast. Welcome, Dr. Petty. I'm so thrilled to have you on the Spiritual Entrepreneur Frequency Podcast. It is a pleasure having you with us today.
I am so excited to talk to you. Seriously, I feel like we're soul sisters.
I feel that as well. And if I can just share with the audience a little bit about your background and who you are, since this might be the first time that they're meeting you. Dr. Petty is a neo-shamanic energy practitioner and an intuitive mentor for purpose-led women leaders who are ready to reconnect with their authenticity, align with their soul purpose, and create legacies with meaning and impact. Lisa combines wisdom from her research doctorate in women's well-being and shamanic practices and over 2 decades of coaching experience to help visionary women heal deep wounds, embody the divine feminine, and shift energy to permanently break free from limiting patterns and expand into their fullest potential. And having said all of that, you will learn very soon that Dr. Lisa Petty is an amazing, amazing woman, and she has so much to offer. I'm so thrilled that you are here. If you wouldn't mind, Lisa, would you share a little bit about your journey and one pivotal moment in your journey that's reshaped your view on spirituality and wellness?
Well, I have to tell you, one of the most poignant experiences that has happened to me in the last several years happened in the shower. And it was a very, very ugly scene, I have to tell you. And I was at the depths of my despair. I felt stuck in my life. I felt like nothing was moving. I'd done all the things I was supposed to do, and I couldn't see a future where I was able to use my gifts. I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. And maybe your listeners can relate. Anyway, so I was furious with God. I was in the shower and I was screaming at God. I was saying, if this is all there is, just take me now, because I can't do this for decades. I can't be in this sort of, just pause any longer. And then I started looking around the shower and I'm like, oh crap, if I actually go, if I'm taken up on this, I better do some cleaning, right? So I have this memory of cleaning the shower. So that was the moment sort of when I hit bottom, right? I've always been on a spiritual journey since I was a kid. I'm curious. I follow my curiosity. I always felt connected to something greater than myself. And I've always sort of felt like I've got to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. What is my purpose? And then I got, like a lot of people do, like a lot of women do, got sidetracked by all the things we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to go to university or, get an education, then start a career, then find somebody and then get married and then raise children. And I did all of that, and it was beautiful and challenging and all of that, and also a distraction. Right? It took me away from this spiritual quest. And so anyway, I got to a place, this is it was before the shower time when my oldest child my youngest child was looking at university, options, where he was going to go. And I could see my future. I'm like, oh, great. I'm going to have an empty nest, right? What am I going to do?
Totally empathize with that.
Right? And just like, I've been a mom. That's my identity. That's what I've been doing.
Right.
If I don't have that, like sort of as my, 24/7, who am I? So instead of actually going inward, I went outward and I thought, you know what? I'll just go get a doctorate. I'll just go to graduate school and get a doctorate and I'll explore what other women do when, they're struggling with all the pressures on us. So anyway, I ended up getting my PhD. And then the day after I got my PhD, I defended my dissertation. I was fired from my job. And if that isn't the universe saying, okay, enough with the distractions, right? You've achieved the things, you've followed your ego, you've got enough credentials now, time to turn inward. So that's sort of the backstory to the shower moment. And the shower moment was when I turned inward. And I thought, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? And that's when I turned to shamanic practice, because that's about looking inward. That's about healing. It's energy, as you're familiar with. And I realized, I turned around and I realized that my whole life had led to the moment where, I was studying shamanism. It just all made sense. This is why I'm here. I am here to help other women so they don't have to go on this horrible journey of up and down and what am I and, screaming at God in the shower. So long story, probably too long. That's how I got here today. And that's why I'm so enthusiastic and excited about helping women, because I don't want them to have that shower moment.
But the most amazing things come to me in the shower too. I was having this conversation with another spiritual entrepreneur, and water is in my, like the water element is in my sign, right? So it makes sense to me that like when I'm in the shower or when I'm walking by water or when I'm physically in like, the lake or the ocean,
right,
that things come through to me. But isn't it funny when you throw up your hands and you're like, okay, what am I supposed to do? And you just surrender that it comes to you, right?
yes.
That's amazing. I love that. So how would you explain, how does your unique approach in helping women, your special kind of magic, if you will, combine science and spirituality? And what impact have you seen your clients have with this, this balance between the two?
So before I went to get my PhD, I worked as a holistic nutritionist. So for decades, I've been working with women, helping them achieve their health goals. And part of the reason that I went back to grad school is because I saw women were hitting a wall, right? And they weren't following through on the things that they said they wanted to do to achieve the goals that they wanted to achieve. So part of my research was, behavior, and how does, behavior work, and how do we improve behavior change and all of that kind of thing. So from that whole experience, I have the research. I understand. And I understand how the body works and physiology, and how to keep a body healthy and pure and clean as possible, right? Which we need as a conduit, as an energy conduit. We need to be clean. So I've got that. The doctorate really showed me how, even though I've always been a critical thinker, like critically thinking about things. And I think the challenge too for a lot of women, particularly in business, who are smart, right? Women are smart, is that we do get stuck in our heads, right? We overanalyze. We get the analysis paralysis. We think that, you have to worry about this for another week before I can make a decision, right? So the missing piece for me was, okay, I'm thinking too much. I'm spinning. And I wasn't in my body enough, right? I was having, this might sound familiar for your listeners, I was having heart palpitations. My mouth was dry. I would wake up at 3:00 in the morning, like ready to go. I know this is how I'm going to solve the problem. And it was usually a crap solution because It's 3 o'clock in the morning and my brain hadn't rested. So for me, it was really important to get out of my head. And that's where the energy medicine really helped to balance me, right? To create that harmony between head and heart, which is so important. So, again, it's important to understand we are living in a body on this planet, but we are spiritual and energetic beings. And we need to create that harmony. And I'm able to do that with my clients because I don't think I've met an overthinker who hasn't, I haven't had the same thought, right? So from that perspective, I understand. And then I had the research to back up, particularly working with women on leaning into their divine feminine. My doctoral research was all about what gets in the way of women taking care of themselves. And it's all the social expectations on us, right? And a lot of that has to do with leaning into the masculine energy, the doing, the thinking, the logic, the competition, right? And
For all those things that we fought over the past 100 years for, right?
exactly. And so, but don't you sense that we're out of balance? That we're leaning too far into the masculine ways of being, and we need them all. Like, of course, I love my brain. I love logic and reason, and you have to actually do things to put things into practice. But I feel like a lot of women are missing out on our innate wisdom, intuition, collaboration, those kinds of things, because we've been trying to do it the man's way to succeed in a man's world for too long.
Yes. I mean, we all have the feminine and masculine energies, but for some reason, when it comes to, especially I know from speaking with female entrepreneurs, when it comes to business, then it's like all of a sudden you put on like, the business cap, and that's a man's hat, right? They have to do it in this masculine energy. But I do feel the shift. I do feel that the shift is happening, and more allowing is happening. So I love that. I love that about your work.
Feeling stuck, but you know you're meant for more? Let me just grab you for 30 seconds. Trust me, it will be worth it. Tap into your power with our free activation visualization. A guided journey designed to shift your consciousness, unlock your potential, and elevate your frequency. Led by your co-host Selena Pizarro, award-winning spiritual 4D quantum business coach, combined with sound therapy music produced with love by myself, Lauren, your co-host, and my partner Marcel, creators of Best Binaurals, with over 25 years of combined music and sound healing expertise. This isn't just meditation, it's a portal to real change. And because we know you've got big things to create, we're giving you free lifetime streaming access to our productivity and focus track, my personal go-to when I need to zone out and get seriously productive. Head to www.spiritualentrepreneurfrequency.com, fill out the quick form, and we'll send you an email to stream both instantly for free. Now it's time for you to continue the why behind the woo-woo. You're just one frequency shift away from your next breakthrough.
Is there one practice or tool that you would recommend to women who, feel stuck and want to raise their frequency, want to get more into their feminine divine energies?
I think that first and foremost, you have to realize that there are parts of yourself that you aren't using, right? You have to accept the fact that your intuition is a thing, and that, lean into it, learn how to trust it. You don't have to logic your way out of every situation, right? Because when you're only using your brain, there's a whole bunch of information that you're not accessing that is available to you. The energy in the room. How are other people feeling? What does your gut tell you? I mean, it's right in our language. I felt it in my gut, or I knew it in my heart. So it's all about the information that your body is providing for you, your moods. We were told there's no crying in boardrooms. Well, your emotions are powerful messengers from your intuition telling you, just giving information, right? So for women who are out of practice trusting their intuition, and particularly women who are overthinkers. One of the things that I love is my pendulum, and I'll show it here. So lots of women feel like this is woohoo, right? But I just want to give sort of a short history of it. We've all heard of diviners with the rods who go out and find water to dig a well.
And that is exactly how they found where to put the well on my property. The guy came out with the divining rods.
Exactly. So what happens is the tool picks up on the energy. Now, it's very much about intention, right? Your diviner came with the intention to find the water. He tapped into the energy of the water, and he was able to locate the water for you. And diviners have a history, actually, of being more effective than all of the scientific gadgets that are available right now. I mean, you hear of people spending hundreds of thousands of dollars getting tech done, and then they call in a diviner who finds what they're looking for. Anyway, so how it works, how a pendulum works is it simply picks up on the energy around you in a way that is visible to you. So for women who struggle with, well, I don't know what that means, right? To be able to say to a pendulum, is this good for me? And have the pendulum tap into the energy field and give you a yes or no. It's incredibly, incredibly valuable.
So do you have like a board that goes underneath it that has kind of...
You can. And I do offer those for people who want them. But I think yes, no, very, very powerful, right? For one thing, as the asker, you have to be very clear on your question, which is, really important in setting up the framework, but also you getting clarity on what it is you really want to understand. The other thing the pendulum helps to do, we can do this with our hands as well, is clear energy. So I pick up energy around me. And so sometimes I'll even wake up in the morning with heaviness, and I'll go to the pendulum and I'll say, is this mine? Because I pick up energy in the community, right? Like I pick up energy from people around me. And if the pendulum says, no, that's not yours, then I clear it. And it's amazing how quickly that works. So it's a really good tool that I encourage people to learn how to use.
Well, I feel like I need to get a huge pendulum because I've got some big questions going into a new year. I'm sure it doesn't matter the size though, right?
No. If you wanted to say a little bit more, lots of people like to get the crystal ones, like they want their amethyst or their quartz or whatever.
Yeah, I have, now these are my beads that I use, for yoga, but here at the bottom you can see I've got that clear quartz.
And that would work. The trick to remember is whatever energy of that crystal that you're using, it could influence the information that you're getting. So it's better to use something like this is a copper one or wood, because they're neutral. So if someone's looking for a new one, I would say get a copper or a wood one. And then you don't have to worry about things like infusing the crystal and cleaning the crystal and all of that kind of thing.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I'm sure that you have a supplier of these pendulums that, that you prefer, or...
You know what? Some people think, let the pendulum pick me, whatever. It's not about, it's a tool. It's like you're not going to ask the screwdriver to pick you, right? So, you just go and grab yourself a tool. You can grab it off Amazon or go support a small business, right? Go to a metaphysical shop and pick one that you like. Really.
Right. One that they're called. So that's how I pick my crystals.
The ones you like. Yeah.
Right. I love that. And I'm definitely going to use that. So for a spiritual leader or a modern business owner, what do you believe is essential in, to have in our toolbox to be thriving in this day and age, with this new age of Aquarius, this time that we're of transformation that we're having right now, that I think is being felt universally. There's like an awakening. What's What do you believe is essential for a female business owner?
I think it's critical to lean into your feminine leadership. And so, again, not knocking masculine energy, and we all have it. We've used it. We know how to use it. It's time to tap into the feminine energy. And what is that? That is your intuition. That is your wisdom. It's the energy of collaboration. It's sharing. It's caring. It's leading from the heart. That doesn't mean you don't have goals. In fact, you do. But those goals are aligned with purpose and meaning. Women are now starting to feel the urge to create meaning, not just create success for the sake of having success, but create meaning, right? The legacy that we're creating, which by the way, we're creating now, not 20 years from now. Every choice we make is part of our legacy. That legacy that we're creating, most women are starting to feel a sense of, I want this to matter.
Right.
That's the divine feminine. And if you look at the way businesses are working now in the online spaces, for example, all that bro marketing, all of that competition, all of that loud, the persuasion marketing that is about trying to almost trick people.
That calling out your pain points, like triggering pain and all of that we were taught.
You certainly have to say, listen, I know what it's like to feel X, Y, Z, but then move on. Like, you need to be able to move to the places. This is what we can do. This is what we can, let's shift it, right? And my personal mission is to get 1 million women, but we'll start with one, to lean into purpose and being authentic. Because when a woman is truly owning who she is and standing in who she is, it sends ripples. I know it's a cliche, but people notice. And, your kids will notice, your partner will notice, people around you are going to go, what is up? I want some of that, because it's so empowering. It's not competition. It's not anger. It's so powerful. And I think Gloria Steinem once said that it'll be an army of gray-haired women who are going to change the world. I don't think we need to have gray hair. But
Thank you for that.
But I do think I think it's going to be women, if we take this opportunity that we're being given right now to step into our feminine leadership, we can fix this mess that we're in. We can reestablish harmony on the earth, but you can only do that when you have a harmony within yourself.
Well, that sounds like a great message that every listener could take with them. Would you, is that, if there's a message that you would want to leave everyone with, would that be it?
It really is about having the courage to embrace who you really are and show up every day, leading from your heart, and with a mind to whatever your business is. I am sure it's of service in some way. Just remembering that how you are serving. But yeah, I think leading from authenticity is the ticket.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, honestly. And that's part of what we are doing this for with the Spiritual Entrepreneur Frequency podcast is bringing on amazing women like yourself. If our listeners want to get more of you and be in your world, where can they go? Where can they find you?
I do have a website, lisapetty.com, and I have some free resources there available for the critical thinkers and those who are ready to lean into actually putting things into practice. So I have a podcast series on the divine feminine, which might be really valuable for people who aren't familiar with that, as well as other giveaways. And I'm just about to add a new one. So just keep going there.
We'll put the latest one in the show notes for everyone to grab a hold of. So
beautiful.
I'll definitely do that.
Yeah, and I'm on all the socials as well. So please reach out. I'd love to have conversations with you and find out what's working, what's not working, what you need support with. That would be great.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Lisa Petty, for being here. And I am sure that our listeners are going to, if not anything, know that they can step into their divine feminine authenticity with your help. And being inspired to do so after listening to this episode. So thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity to share. It's been lovely.
Thank you.